Hey, what's up? I got some 2KO content for you guys. Yes, the X is silent. No, I will not elaborate. My name is Tempo, I've hit Master Tier in League, Lore, and TFT, and I will be your one-stop shop for 2KO news and gameplay. Now, here is everything you need to know about 2KO. The footage playing in the background is from the Red Bull livestream event from about 7 months ago, in case you're curious. Link to the full VOD in the description below. Also, while you're checking that out, make sure to drop a sub if you're new. I'm going to be covering tons of 2KO news and putting out beginner and character guides, especially as we get closer to the release date. With that, let's get right into it. First and foremost, it's important to know who is actually making the game and calling the shots. Well, I have great news because 2KO is being developed by fighting game community veterans, rollback netcode inventors, and current EVO Championship CEO, the twin brothers Tom and Tony Cannon. These guys are basically legendary in the FGC. I feel like a lot of people's first worry is that someone at Riot who doesn't even play fighting games is in charge of the project, but let me put those worries to rest. These guys are awesome. The next important thing to talk about, and what's on the forefront of players' minds, is how much is this game going to cost? Well hey, I got even more good news for you. 2KO is going to be completely free to play. Here's a direct quote from Tom Cannon. "When it comes to monetization, we promise to be respectful of both of your time and your wallet. So much like other Riot titles, it's going to be free to download and play, but we'll have optional cosmetics like skins and player banners. I'd wager they'll probably have a battle pass system as well." I'm hoping that they can find the proper monetization balance. We'll definitely have to see as the release date gets closer what their plans are. The best news I can possibly give you though is what we know about the netcode infrastructure that's going to be used for 2KO. It is my pleasure to tell you that the game will have server-based rollback netcode, which is incredible. According to Tom Cannon, we don't have to fear Wi-Fi warriors who have worse internet than us. Nothing will be peer-to-peer, and someone's terrible connection won't affect your match. The game will also be utilizing Riot Direct, which is a system that League and Valorant already use to minimize ping. Having all of this in place will make it easy to detect if someone rage quits, and will punish them accordingly, while giving you the best, highest quality internet connection. Okay, we got some really important aspects like who's behind the game and that the game is going to be free to play, even some stuff about the netcode, but what about 2KO itself? How's it going to play? Is it going to be easy to get into? Because fighting games are notoriously difficult and punishing. So let me answer these questions for you right now. 2KO is intended to be an easy to learn but hard to master game. This means hopping in and doing basic combos against other new players should feel good, but there's also tons of room for skill expression and practice will pay off, which is the ideal kind of environment for players of all skill levels. This also means that learning other similar games will help translate to 2KO. Make sure to stick around to the end of the video where I talk about what games you should practice in order to have the biggest day 1 advantage. But yeah, 2KO is going to be a 2v2 tag team fighter. You can either solo control both of your characters, or, and here's the kicker, you can queue up with a friend and both control your separate characters, forming a team. This duo partnership is looking to be one of the main selling points of the game that makes it unique compared to other fighters. This is going to make duo climbing really fun and a great way to play with a group of friends, being able to mix and match the teams while coming up with new character combos. But to reiterate, you can play by yourself and control both of your characters if you're more of a solo player. It seems like even this early into development, Riot is trying to appeal to as many players as possible, which you love to see. Remember how I said earlier that the game is going to be easy to learn? This is because the control scheme of the game is going to be simple compared to other fighters. There's only going to be a few buttons to press and basic directional inputs, so no quarter circle commands where you have to press multiple keys or roll your pad if you're on controller, and thank God no DP commands or half circles, nothing crazy like that. The most you'll have to do is press a direction and a button. These simplified inputs will make the game easy to pick up, but there's still plenty of complexity to fiddle with. The movement is all basic stuff too, nothing crazy going on. For offense, it's the standard highs, mids, and lows system, and characters have 3 supers. I'm sure some future characters are going to break this format quite a bit, but for now, everything looks pretty standard. For defense, we have push block and retreating guard, which costs 1 bar. Parrying is also an option, which costs 1 bar, but refunds it if successful, rewarding good timing when on the defensive. As of right now, there's also some info on the fuse system that I can share. Fuses are basically passives that you take into the game. You get to pick one, and it affects some of your combos and team play. The freestyle fuse lets you handshake tag twice. This basically means you can swap your main character twice as long as your second character is also on screen, allowing for some crazy offense and mix-ups. The double down fuse allows you to cast multiple supers or ults back to back between your characters. You may recognize this mechanic as DHC if you've played MVC or Dragon Ball FighterZ. The next fuse is called 2x assist, which literally lets you do 2 assist options back to back. Very simple. And the last one is also easy to understand. It's just an all-around buff that gives you bonus damage and a special dash cancel once you hit 40% HP. Kinda like a comeback mechanic that you can get general use from. But yeah, there's a lot of variety and skill expression to be had with character and fuse combos. Speaking of assists, each character has 2 assist options. Once you call them out, that's when you can handshake tag to swap control to the other character that just came in. Your assist character can also perform a dynamic save, which is like a combo breaker in case you're getting comboed a lot. If a character has been knocked out, it can still perform something called a last stand, which is a more powerful version of an assist with a 10-second cooldown, which means if you lose a character early, you're not completely helpless and can still come back. The last main thing I want to cover, which is arguably the most exciting to players, is the roster. So far, only 7 characters have ever been shown. We have confirmation on Echo, Ari, Darius, Yasuo, and Alawi, of course. The other 2 characters are Jinx and Katarina. We haven't seen Jinx in a hot minute, and we last saw Katarina in earlier builds of the game before a big overhaul, so we'll see if they come back to the spotlight. The social media graphics we've been shown implies that there will be 14 characters for launch. This may change as it's still really early in development, but if you're hungry for theory crafting and potential characters that can be added, make sure to sub because I'm going to be making those kind of videos along with news, leaks, and updates. Okay, so moving on to the FAQ section of the video. For context, I'm a mod on the 2KO subreddit, so I want to answer some of the questions I've seen asked the most. Question 1. Why 2XKO? Yes, okay, that name is terrible. I get it. Everyone agrees. I've seen so many jokes about the pronunciation too. Like, I get that they wanted it to be like a shortened version of double knockout, but couldn't that just be like double KO or something? Why the 2X? It sounds like an edgy Xbox gamer tag, I don't know. I personally dropped the X because 2KO sounds a lot better and rolls off the tongue better. I feel like that's also just the general consensus. Better than what else I've heard, which is like Tuxco, Twixco, I don't know guys, it's cursed. And for question 2, this is by far the question I've seen the most. What fighting game should I play in the meantime to practice for 2KO's release? I have a personal answer along with some others that I've seen. So let's start with the most obvious, and that is BlazBlue Cross Tag Battle. This is the game with the most one-to-one mechanic similarities. The main difference between the two is the control scheme. BB Tag has quarter circle inputs, but it's still great for learning the tag system and 2v2 playstyle. The one I'm going to personally be playing is DNF Duel. While it's a 1v1 fighter, it's extremely similar to how 2KO is going to feel control-wise. Both have 3 normal buttons and a special button, albeit 2KO is going to have 2 special buttons, but still, it's very similar because DNF Duel has simple inputs, so it's going to be easy to translate the mechanics from game to game. Same with fundamentals. DNF Duel is pretty slow-paced and will give you a really good basic understanding of fighting games in general. The last couple I want to talk about are Power Rangers Battle for the Grid and Grand Blue Rising. Power Rangers is similar to 2KO, except it's 3v3 instead of 2v2. And Grand Blue is just an all-around good beginner fighting game that has a free-to-play system with one playable character on rotation, so you can play for free while learning different characters over the course of a few months. The next question I often see is, I signed up for the playtest, when is that going to be? The playable public beta is slated for late 2024. I'd guess somewhere around November or December. There's also going to be physical playtest stations starting as early as EVO Japan 2024, which is April 27th through the 29th. So we'll be seeing some newer builds for the game very soon, probably featuring Alawi if I had to guess. And for the final quick question I want to cover, when is the game coming out? This is subject to change, but the game is going to come out 2025. Hopefully in the earlier parts of the year, but I'd guess probably around spring or summer. It'll also be on PS5, Xbox S and X, and also PC with cross-platform play, of course. I'm also going to be hosting fighting game nights in my Discord server, so feel free to hit up the link in the description if you want to join and practice for 2KO's release. Again, I'm also a mod over on the 2KO subreddit, so make sure to join the sub if you want to stay caught up on news and updates. And that's it for this one. Huge shout out to my patrons on screen. Thank you so much for supporting. Please like and subscribe if this video was informative. I didn't go super into detail about like the game's buttons because I plan on covering that stuff more in depth in a future beginner video. I'll be releasing more 2KO content in the near future. Also, follow me on Twitch if you want to catch me live. Thank you so much for watching and have a good one. Laters.